Welcome to the Dream Journal. From the studios of KSQD in Santa Cruz, the Dream Journal is a weekly show where we explore the power of nighttime dreams through conversations with dream experts and with listeners like you.
In the house behind, the life you find is something understood. So there's now those vital minutes. Time is
A dream can be meaningful even if you don't know what it means. Today's music is called Auroral Blur. Who caught that aurora this week? I missed it in the clouds. Aging through the lens of night dreams, living dreams, and earth dreams, Dr. Illana Berger guides seekers through life's initiations, through Zen practice, Indigenous wisdom, dreams, and soul-centered transformation. I am your host, Catherine Bell of Experiential Dreamwork, and welcome to the Dream Journal. I want to share a dream I had this week, just part of a dream where I am going back to NASA. My old office is ready for me at NASA. I haven't had a NASA dream in a long time. It's just funny. I wonder what triggers those dreams. But the office, my space in the office was basically an empty desk with a cardboard box sitting on the desk. Looks like, I don't know if I'm moving in or moving out. But then I have an office mate who is working busily, has books to the ceiling, and she scolds me that I should come into the office more often. I'm just gently like, that's not what I do now. So, NASA, still on my mind, I guess. Okay, now on to our guests. Illana Berger, hello. So good to have you on the show.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you sound fabulous.
Wonderful.
Okay. So let me introduce you. Illana Berger, PhD, Zen Roshi, spiritual counselor, and author of The Journey from Grievance to Gratitude and The Snake and the Four Winds, guides seekers through life's initiations, aging, loss, and awakening, integrating Zen practice, Indigenous wisdom, dreams, and soul-centered transformation through her teachings, writings, and retreats worldwide. And you're a local person, Illana. I've heard you're up in Scotts Valley. Is that right?
Exactly.
Excellent. Well, nice to meet you. I love to support dreamers, of course, and local people all the more.
Thank you so much.
So Illana's webpage is illanaberger.com, ILLANA.BERGER.com. Am I pronouncing everything correctly there?
It's burger, like a hamburger.
Okay. But it's BERGER. Got it.
Yeah.
Illana Berger. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you tell us, what do you mean by Zen and Indigenous wisdom? And this might be two separate questions. Like, this is your lens through which you look at everything you do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll just say to begin and weave my way into that is that my work is really about supporting people to meet their lives right here, right now, in this moment. Mm-hmm. And that's really the heart of Zen. Mm-hmm. In fact, one of the masters in Zen says when the student asks what is Zen, the teacher says, Zen is the study of the self. Mm. And to study the self is to forget the self. And to forget the self is to become enlightened by the 10,000 things. So that's the heart of Zen. And I personally work in what's called Rinzai Zen, which is a koan tradition. And koans are essentially an ancient meditation teaching story. It started in the 8th century or 7th century, I guess. It's a teaching story, it's a question, it's an image that often is between two teachers or a teacher and a student. And they're designed to interrupt our ordinary thinking and then to open the mind to a deeper, wordless kind of understanding. So it's not meant to be solved, which is what the mind wants to do usually. It's to be lived with, and then they become doorways into one's awakening through curiosity, through being present with it, and through our direct experience, which, by the way, I think is a lot like dreams.
Well, even I think the idea of koans is that dreams are often like koans. They're not really to be solved, but they're to be lived.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. And then indigenous wisdom is really the wisdom of traditional peoples, First Nations people around the earth. And I started working with traditional Indigenous elders around 1986, 1987. And it's been a huge part of my personal journey. And then I did my PhD at this California Institute for Integral Studies on traditional knowledge and recovery of the indigenous mind. And so my doctoral work was really about indigenous wisdom in the Jewish tradition, which is my culture of origin. And dreams are a huge part of Judaism. You know, they occur very often in the Old Testament.
True.
Right?
Yeah. I hadn't thought of that though, but yeah, that's true because it's there's many dreams in the Bible for sure. The Old Testament.
So I could give you an example of a koan that might feel dreamlike,
Sure.
especially related to the one that you just shared.
Perfect. Yeah.
And actually, I think I have a couple of dreams of clients that relate to the actual dream that you had. But here's a koan example. So this one's in story form, and it goes like this. It says, 2 friends are washing their bowls out in the river when suddenly 2 crows fly out of the trees and pull a frog out of the river. And the 2 crows begin pulling it apart and wrestling each other for the frog. And one friend says to the other, "Why must it be like this?" And the other friend responds, "It's only for your benefit, honored one. It's just for you." And to me, that's a very dreamlike image, right? And how in our own lives we're fighting over things that,
Right.
we don't necessarily need to.
Right, and there's something about the idea that the dream is just for your benefit as well. That this is the whole, the whole reason for dreams is for the human or the animal that dreams it. There's something valuable about the dream in itself.
Right, and in traditional knowledge, I've worked a long time with a teacher in Topanga Canyon, Dina Metzger, who works a lot with dreams, and Mandaza Kandemwa, who's a traditional medicine man from Zimbabwe, Africa. And in the indigenous world, dreams are for yourself. They can be for yourself. But when you're a dreamer and you dream a lot, sometimes the dreams aren't for you. Sometimes they're messages for people in your community. Sometimes they're messages for the whole world, right? For the earth. Sometimes they're for somebody very specific that and they don't dream. And so they would say the spirits have brought a dream to you to give to somebody else.
Right. I must say that I like to start with every dream as looking at what does it have for me, since there's layers to dreams. And I need to clean my own mirror before reflecting what I see to somebody else, because I want to get my own stuff out of the way before presuming to tell somebody else what they, assuming that my dream is for somebody else. Seems like there's layers.
You might not know it. It's just a matter of sharing it. I had a dream about you last night, and I want to share it with you.
Oh,
right?
Oh, I see. I thought you were
that's
as an example. Right.
Yeah. And then they can see if it has any relevance, because sometimes you have a dream and you just go, "What?"
Right. Exactly. So they get that aha, that dreamer's aha, just as the dreamer themselves do.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then in terms, for many years, for 24 years, I've been working primarily around relationship and divorce and how, well, the name of my book is The Journey from Grievance to Gratitude. And so working with people, how you go from how hurt and angry and disappointed and wronged you feel, especially in divorce, but often in relationship as well. To moving, and I continue to do that work, of course, but I'm pivoting towards working with people who are aging, who are ill, who are feeling depths of uncertainty in the world, people who are dying.
Right, right.
And the principles that I work with are the same. It doesn't matter what the content is, right? Whether you're struggling, if you're struggling, the opportunity is to be present. And that's kind of how I work with dreams, is rather than trying to solve them necessarily or try and figure them out. That's the same with koans. We tend to go upstairs and goes, well, what does this mean? And, rather than just being with how it feels in your body and what just arises from sitting with it or walking with it. I like to think of koans kind of like spirits that you carry in your pocket. And as you go through your life or your day to day, they pop up. Something will happen and, all of a sudden the koan's in your consciousness. And that's really how Zen works. But you can also ask it. You find yourself in a conundrum and you can just say, okay, two teachers in the river. What do you have to say about this?
Okay. Right. And when you were reading the koan or telling the koan, I also had this thought of something that I've practiced before called the Many Buddhas meditation, where you just go through your day assuming that everything that happens is specifically orchestrated to help you move toward enlightenment. And, whether it's traffic or something that goes well, or, everything that happens is specifically a Buddha trying to help you. Okay.
Well, here's what I'd say. And yes, I agree with that. In a lot of ways, I agree with that. But what I don't agree, here's what I would say. Everybody's already enlightened.
I like
There's
that.
no place to get to.
Ooh, good one.
You're already there. And so the experience, and that's why letting yourself come present, because oftentimes we're in the future, like in a car situation, right? We're trying to get to the doctor's office, let's say, and we hit traffic and we have all these feelings about it, and we bypass the moment that we're in. And try and go to solving a problem that we think we're having. And Zen invites us to just be still, This is what is. This is your life. Don't miss it. Here it is in living color. And so if you want to be someplace else, then you're missing this. And when you're really present, you're awake, right? You're just awake. And that's enlightenment. It's not some big... People do have big experiences with the realization, or not even the realization, it's a somatic experience of experiencing the oneness. And when you're really present in the present moment, you're in that oneness. When you're aware, you're sharing your being with all of life.
I love that. So you're saying that that enlightenment is a state of awareness of the present moment, and so it's something that we can move in and out of from moment to moment.
That's exactly right. Have you ever had that experience of like, like,
yes,
right? And it is often fleeting.
And
it is often fleeting, but you can get back there immediately. The minute that you, I'll encourage people to just, are you aware of your feet on the ground? Are you aware of the bottoms of your soles? Right?
Right.
Are you aware of your breath? Are you aware of the sound of my voice? That is who we truly are. It's just that awareness. And we filter the world of perception through that awareness, which gives us our experiences. But when you rest in that awareness, you're awake. You're already there. And so anybody can go there. You don't have to be meditating for 10,000 hours to get there.
Good. I'm glad.
when you shift from thinking, right, and analyzing,
Right.
and you just shift into pure awareness, then you're fully awake.
Okay. So when you did that little, I mean, that felt like a little meditation right there, just feeling the soles of my feet, feeling the breath, hearing your voice. Well, immediately became aware of my back's a little sore. And, you know, there's these things that creep up on us. And so I want to come back to the conversation about aging, and that it's a big topic. I mean, and it's something that we're all hopefully going through, right? As opposed to,
Yes.
not surviving. And so, like, so often if I become aware of the moment, I might feel like pain. I mean, like literal physical pain, never mind the emotional pain, like of regret or anything like that. And so I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about aging and what your experiences with and helping people recognize the spirituality of aging.
Yeah, I'd love to. One of the things I've noticed, well, I want to give you a koan that goes with, as we jump into this topic.
Great.
There's another dreamlike koan that says, sickness and medicine correspond with each other. The whole world is medicine. What am I? It's provocative, isn't it?
Okay.
So I like to think about aging, or in thinking about aging and dreaming directly, and then I'll get more into aging, is that our dreams tend to evolve. And they can mirror our life passage, our unresolved grief. It can prepare us for our journey into elderhood. And I make a very clear delineation between elderhood and senior citizen, or being old.
Okay.
Because the culture classifies, anybody over 65 as a senior citizen. And we become a demographic of some sort.
Right.
Right. But and it's something it's a title that's given to you and imposed upon you. But being an elder is something that you embrace. You choose it. And it's about embracing the years of your experience and the wisdom that comes from living, and the wisdom that comes from living consciously. A lot of people don't live consciously.
True.
But even if you weren't conscious in the course of living most of your life, once you turn toward your life and really embrace the experiences of your life without judgment, but with curiosity, with honesty, with a kind of vulnerability, we might say, you begin to discover what you've actually composted into wisdom. And so how we mostly think about aging is loss and getting depleted and being invisible. These are things people have said to me over and over. I feel invisible. I feel like I have no purpose, right? In a way, those are dream images too. And like I think about your dream that you shared with the empty boxes, right? Is, would be a really beautiful eldering, aging dream. And I have an example from a colleague that had a dream that he was looking through his filing cabinet for a picture of himself that he thought he had put there. And this is in the dream, right? But the only picture that he could find was a picture of his graduation from high school. And he knew he wasn't in high school anymore, so he was frustrated that he couldn't find the current picture of himself. And he realized that he had actually not accepted that he had aged and that those years were gone. They were way in the past. And it was he had the experience of like looking in the mirror and refusing to see the actual image in front of him. And it ended up being very freeing for him to just be able to accept my wrinkles and my sagging eyes and my fat belly, or
Right.
right, my vitality weakening. That's part of aging, and when we can embrace it, then there's a freedom that we come. Then what happens, instead of trying to be productive and be useful, we start enjoying the sound of the bird in the tree singing outside our window, right? Or the taste of the tea in our cup in the morning with our toast. Things become simpler and far more beautiful. Sitting out on the deck and looking at the vista of the sun descending in the sky in the afternoon becomes so precious. Right? And we tend not to take time for that when we're younger and we're having to make a living and we're having to raise our family and we're having to care for aging parents or whatever it is, right? So that's kind of how I work with aging, that it's a precious journey that we don't want to miss. We don't want to miss, just like any part of our life. But really, aging, we kind of want to bypass, and the culture insists on it.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm trying to encourage people to just, recognize how hard you've worked to get to this moment, and now you have this next final journey of your life, and it doesn't have to be pointless, right? But you don't have to do anything anymore.
Well, we don't have a culture of the wise elder very much. It's not a very strong archetype in this country, in this moment.
Boy, you're not kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, we house our elders in places where there's just elders. It's so unnatural that there aren't children running around and young people, and that we're not all supporting each other. The elders sharing their wisdom, the younger ones helping the older ones with the things that are more difficult to do. It's just so unnatural. But in Indigenous cultures, this is not how they treat their elders.
Well, but there's this level of practicality too. I want to, speaking as one whose mom is in a nursing home, that there's a level of like, I just can't care for her, and it's just I don't have the capacity. And so there are ways that this is realistic in our society, but there's not even like a level of respect there.
You're totally right, but that's how the culture has set it up. It's not your fault, right? That this is how it is. We don't live in communities where, as a community, as neighbors, as extended family, we don't live close together supporting each other. There's a family here in Santa Cruz where they bought a piece of land and everybody lives on it. The grandchildren, the children, the parents, and they all support each other. It's how it used to be, but it's not how it is anymore. So yes, I mean, I had to put my mother someplace as well because I couldn't care for her, and she was quite sick with Parkinson's. And I fortunately have two brothers who also participated, and a partner who helped out as well, and my children who love my mother and helped out as much as they could as well. But when we house them away and we don't have to look at them, we're denying a part of ourselves as a culture.
Yeah.
Not on the one-on-one. Of course, we have to do what we have to do so we can work, because we don't live in tribes.
No, we don't.
Right? We don't live in villages. It's really sad. I do feel like I'm optimistic that that's going to change 10, 15, 20 years in the future.
Well, what do you envision?
I envision just that. I envision collaboration and community and village living, and we're not driving, 50, 60 miles to a job, but that we're able to be in our community and thrive in the community. I love one of the things that happened here in Scotts Valley when the funds for SNAP were cut off is in the local next door, somebody had posted that they didn't get their SNAP and they had no food in their pantry. And did somebody have like a can of soup that she could eat? And oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. Probably 50 people responded with, I just bought a case of tuna from Costco. Can I bring it to you? I just finished making, a soup and I'd like to bring it to you. I mean, it was amazing. To me, that's what's possible for us as humans.
Right. But I hope we don't have to totally lose all our infrastructure to get to that state. I mean, right, moving back into small villages, I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing. I mean, moving towards remote work is actually a step in the right direction because people don't have to commute long hours if they do work remotely. How do we move forward? And
well, in Zen we say, step by step in the dark.
Step by step in the dark. Yeah.
We don't know. I mean, I'm not going to be here probably in 20 years, or I won't be much help in 20 years. But if I am still here, I hope I'm still here. I'd be 91. But yeah, I think being able to just allow us to be in, this doesn't really work well. And I don't know what's next. A beautiful Zen teacher, Bernie Glassman, who passed away several years ago, an incredible Roshi. He created Zen Peacemakers International. And he had 3 tenets. And the first tenet was living each day with the willingness to bear witness to what is. And then secondly, to come to that bearing witness not knowing. And out of bearing witness and not knowing, compassionate action just naturally arises. And I love practicing that because out of that, just something, we solve our problems when we can stand in not knowing. And our culture, feels like it knows everything.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I remember trying to solve a koan with my teacher, and I couldn't get the right answer. Part of the Rinzai practice is to be given a koan. Then you go sit with your teacher and give them the answer. And the answer is always, show me the answer. Don't tell me about it. Show me about it. And I couldn't get it. And I carried that koan for over a year and a half. I was so upsetting and why was it upsetting? Because I valued my knowing. I had studied spirituality, I'd worked with Indigenous people, right? I knew things, but I could not answer this question. And the experience of being in not knowing was profound. And it ended up being a great teacher for my life. Can I just not know?
Right.
It's a hard practice in our culture because we don't value it. You're stupid or dumb or ignorant.
Right. Or if it has no meaning, it has no value. There's something about accepting that something that even if I don't understand it, it's still valuable.
Yes, and maybe even more valuable.
Ooh, nice.
Right? Because of where it takes you.
Love that. Okay. Ilana, this is Dr. Illana Berger, and we are talking about soulful aging and Zen and Indigenous wisdom. And we're going to take a short break. Ilana's webpage is illanaberger.com, ILLANABERGER.com. We're broadcast live from the KSQD studios in Santa Cruz and co-broadcast live in San Jose by KCXU and podcast everywhere. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Dream Journal, and I am Catherine Bell of Experiential Dreamwork. I'd like to send out a special welcome to our far-flung listeners. We have Santa Cruz, Scotts Valley, Santa Clara, Union City, California, Oakland, California, San Francisco, Las Vegas, Seattle, Washington, Surrey, British Columbia, Antioch, Tennessee, Washington, D.C., and Quebec in Canada. So glad to have you a part of the show today. So people all over the world are interested in their dreams. If you want to help us nudge the algorithm to spread interest in dreaming, please follow the Dream Journal on your favorite podcast app. But even more important, tell your friends. The mission of the show is to get people talking about dreams, and you can tell your friends. You can follow us on hashtag The Dream Journal, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and also at Experiential Dreamwork. Also, please contact me if you'd like to be a guest on the show to talk about a new book or to let folks know about your dream-related offerings. It is time to get ready for the IISD conference in June. It's just up the road in Ashland, Oregon. If you are an author or have dream-related offerings you'd like to share, or if you have ideas you're passionate about or a story to tell, now is the time to submit your proposal for a presentation. The deadline is December 19th. Details can be found at iisdconferences.org/2026. Let's have Santa Cruz represent up in Ashland in June. Next week, we will have on the show Rachel Schaefer, who will be talking about the feminine aspects of the Toltec knowledge base and her particular practice, dream dancing. Today's guest is Dr. Illana Berger, and you can find out about her at illanaberger.com. And we are talking about spirituality of aging, as well as Zen and the Indigenous wisdom. So, Illana, I'm wondering if we want to talk a little bit more about the idea of the Earth Stream. We hinted at the idea of the collective, and maybe you could say a little bit more about what do you mean by the Earth Stream?
Absolutely. So in Indigenous traditions that I've studied with, they say that the earth dreams through us. Mm. And since our human psyche is not separate from the world psyche, we are expressions of that same consciousness. So for instance, when we dream about fire and flood, renewal, reunion, these are not just personal symbols, although they have personal relevance for sure. They're also movements in the greater body of the earth itself, right? Mm-hmm. Dreaming us toward balance. I remember when COVID hit, right, and the kinds of dreams people were having were very much earth dreams, mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm. Tidal waves and beautiful dreams too of the earth, renewal and reemerging. So also, our personal dreams often can carry collective or planetary messages, as I had said earlier. And it can include things like teachings on reciprocity or the interconnectedness of all life. Mm. So as I was telling you, what is Zen is the study of the self, and the study of the self is to forget the self, and to forget the self is to be enlightened by the 10,000 things. Mm-hmm. We say that those 10,000 things are awake. The mountains, the oceans, and our suffering are all part of the great dreaming of the world. And so I kind of like to think that the earth is actually breathing through us. And the dreams that are about the earth, right, or include participants in the earth, are to help us remember that we are not observers. We're participants in the great unfolding. The earth is a living field of consciousness streaming through us, is kind of how I like to think about. And so she speaks through us. And if we listen, we also have the opportunity for her to heal us.
So what do we do with these larger dreams? If we dream about a friend, we can contact their friend and see if there's something meaningful for them. But if it's about the larger culture, or even these forces of these natural forces like the earth and the oceans, what do we do with these kinds of dreams?
Well, oftentimes those dreams are about restoring our relationship. It really depends on your personal relationship, right, with the earth. But oftentimes in working with, let's say, Mandaza Kandemwa from Africa, my son is a huge dreamer. My middle son, Josh, and oftentimes his dreams are asking either for an offering to be made to the earth. We did a retreat with Mandaza, a virtual retreat with him, exploring the earth, the water, and fire. And when we went to we were instructed to go to the forest and to be in the forest and to address the citizens of the forest, which are, of course, the trees and the animals and the birds and the worms and the spiders, all the citizens of the forest. I don't know, I found that such a beautiful experience of really embracing everything that is in a forest and to bring an offering of gratitude for the care that they have. And it was tied to somebody's dream from that retreat. So sometimes it's an offering, right? Sometimes it's you're not in balance or in harmony, right? Something's out of place. And so then you become the offering. And oftentimes Mandaza would instruct to bring offerings to the ocean mother, or the water spirits is how he speaks of it. So for us here in Santa Cruz, we have the privilege of having the ocean right here. But it could be a stream or a river or a lake. Could even be a bathtub if that's the only way you can get to water. But you bring offerings, and the offerings are often flowers, cornmeal or tobacco. Oftentimes he instructs you to bring a coin, especially if you're going to go to the ocean or a river or something, because in our culture, that's what has value, right?
Right.
And so you make that offering as out of respect for the reality that we as humans cannot live without the water.
Thank you. So, Illana, we have a caller on the line.
Great.
I want to go to Elizabeth. Is this Elizabeth from Bellingham?
Yes.
Hi. We were talking about you last week. I don't know if you heard. We had a guest from Bellingham, and she did this shout out to Elizabeth from Bellingham. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, amazing. No, actually, I haven't been able to come on till today, and I'm so glad I did. Greetings to you, Illana.
Thank you. Hi, Elizabeth.
Yes, I've been a Zen practitioner since 2010. So I really am enjoying hearing and resonating with some of the beautiful Buddhist values that you've been speaking of, especially in terms of the aging process.
Yes.
I could talk about that in one sense, but I could also share a dream depending on whatever Catherine thinks is best.
Well, I'll leave it to Illana. What do you think?
I would leave it to you, Elizabeth.
Yes.
What is it that most wants to express itself?
Perfect.
Well, it's wonderful that I was able to find some dreams. I'm a person that's been on disability since I was 41. And it's been a very interesting process because what I've been using all of my wisdom to do is to work within my body and listen and unravel the symptoms. And I've done some work with my ancestors in that way, and realizing about the DNA, the emotional DNA and the physical. And I became an astrologer, and that really helped me. It
Beautiful.
showed me where in my psyche the illness exists. And it also has shown me that when I'm 84, it's going to be very different than other people, perhaps. Of course, it's unique to me, but my trajectory at this time is that I will be a public figure at 84. So I have a very different thought process about aging, because I know that I'm going beyond my limitations to bring myself into the world soul.
Hmm. Well, just before you go into your dream, can I speak to that?
Please.
So first, I want you to feel my deep bow to you.
Oh, thank you.
But you know, in the tradition, indigenous tradition that I've worked in for so many years, when one is struck, I don't want to say struck, when one is given an illness, that the illness is offered on many levels, or the journey to healing lives in many levels. And so there's a personal level, of course, about your own life, your own ancestors, the wound and the gifts that have been handed down through the ages. But there's also a cultural and economic component to our illnesses, our afflictions. That's the word I wanted, afflictions. And that we carry it on behalf of the community and the world. Because there's always a deep teaching in our afflictions. And so I would encourage you, and it sounds like maybe you've even done this, to be able to look at what you're carrying. What is the nature of this illness? And if you were to look at it as a spirit, what would be the instructions and the teaching of the spirit of this affliction? So that you enter it in all the different ways in which it is getting your attention. And what does that tell you about the world we live in? And that you're carrying this, you carry it on behalf of all of us. And that's another part of my deep bow, because it takes such incredible courage to carry an illness on behalf of the world.
Thank you so much.
That's beautiful.
Half of the world, of course. And so that kind of resonates with this idea of going into the public. And my dream that I found is sort of interesting, because I think it has many levels of what you're saying, just in specifics. I can read it to you now.
Sure.
Please, yes.
I am in a large group of pagans. The room is packed with people in chairs. I am leading something in tandem with another woman who knows this group and how to be humble and powerful, courageous and kind in speech. Here is some attention, there is some attention being paid to the building itself, which is cavernous and converges to an interesting infinite corner with architectural interest. Those who emerged to take a bow were dressed in formal wear with a flair and were animated with emotion. I was wandering about the audience crowd looking for grounded ways to lead. Good things to say were coming to me. I spoke of being from ancient Ireland and Britain.
Can I invite you, Elizabeth, to read it again, but to read it in the present tense instead of the past tense?
Okay. All right, we'll see how I do with a better voice as well.
As it's happening right now.
Oh,
Take us
wow.
there.
Okay. I am in a large group of pagans. The room is packed with people in chairs. I am leading something in tandem with another woman who knows this group and how to be humble and powerful, courageous and kind in speech. That's right from Zen. There is some attention being paid to the building itself. Or I am paying attention to the building itself, which is cavernous and converges to an interesting infinite point with architectural design. Those who are emerging,
Those who are emerging, right? I think they're emerging from that point. To take a bow are dressed in formal wear with a flair and are animated with emotion. I am wandering about the audience crowd looking for a grounded way to lead. Good things to say come to me. I speak of being from ancient Ireland and Britain. That's a beautiful. Can you feel the image shift when you do it in the present tense?
Yes.
It comes alive, right?
I'm back in it, right? Or shall we say it's in me?
And you're doing it. You're speaking of wisdom. It's coming right out of your mouth.
And it's very interesting because just recently on the November 1st, Day of the Dead, we had a most amazing ceremony here out in the dark with lights on the ground. And it was just a very safe experience. I could tell by the energy that I was completely safe. And they acted out, the subconscious was like these sort of like little, effervescent screams in the distance, but we were headed towards the table of light, and we were asked to let one of our ancestors in. And one of my ancestors from Britain came in, and he's still with me.
Beautiful.
Bringing me through a time of having a hurt foot and, also teaching. It's a very unusual transitory time for me, and just to hear you and to be with you two today, I do feel connected to the world.
Elizabeth, this dream is a gift to all of us. It's a beautiful claiming of your own elderhood, your own wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Tears in my eye.
Yeah.
Because that's true.
Me too. Yeah. Very powerful.
So beautiful to connect. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And really to know that nothing can stand in the way. Nothing will stand in the way unless you allow it of your being able to share your wisdom. And when you carry an affliction, the affliction itself has such wisdom.
I could write about this. Catherine, I am trying.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you are writing, Elizabeth. I would take out the words trying to. I know that you're a writer and a poet and creative, and you are embodying all these beautiful things of this dream already.
It's an initiatory dream, Elizabeth. It's really calling you to hold nothing back.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So glad you called, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, I've been missing connecting up with you, but so much has been going on. I was part of that food stamp crisis.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm really happy I live in Washington because they are so socially minded.
Good.
We are so socially minded.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth.
And B, and
Yeah.
how's you too?
All right, let's keep in touch.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I will.
So Max in the studio has something he'd like to add here.
Okay.
Max.
Hello. What I have is not so much a question as an affirmation of something you said earlier. When you said you think that there's going to be tribalism growing on the rise in 15 or 20 years. I hope you were right, because I've seen a side of tribalism. I went into Peace Corps about in the 1980s. I was able to live in a town that was very highly tribalized, and I see that it's not a manner of division of people, it's a manner of unification of people. It's more of a family writ large.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I know we speak in this culture, and I think that has something to do with colonialism.
I think so too,
That we
yeah.
speak of tribalism in such negative, terminology.
Mm-hmm.
And that's right. That's the superiority of colonialism. But really, being part of a tribe is a beautiful thing.
Excellent.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you, Max.
Well, there's more to it, too. I think people are far more resilient as a tribe than we are without it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that resilience is what you're hinting at, maybe is going to be needed in the next 15 or 20 years.
Exactly. Well, we need it now, but it takes time.
Right,
Yeah, it
to
does.
build it.
Yeah. it does.
Yeah. Thank you, Max.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much. Yes.
So this is Illana Berger, and she practices here, and you can find out about her offerings at illanaberger.com, ELLANABERGER.com. She has classes here in the Santa Cruz area, perhaps online as well. Do you have anything else you want to say about what you're offering, Illana?
Yeah, it's ILLANA.
Oh, I'm sorry, ILL. Thank you.
No problem at all. I just want to be sure so people can find
Right.
it. What I would say about offerings, and a lot of this, or all of this is on my website, but I lead meditation on Tuesday and Wednesday mornings from 7:30 to 8. It's just a half an hour. And we sit with a koan and a poem at the end and do our vows to conclude, and you're done by 8. And it's free. It's open to anybody. Just reach out to me and I'll get you the link. And I'll be facilitating an elders council for winter solstice where everybody will have the opportunity to speak into the sacred circle what you're discovering about yourself and our world as we navigate these turbulent times in America and really all over the world. And then we'll do a ritual together. And in February, if you live here in Santa Cruz, I'll be teaching the spirituality of aging, which is a 4-week class at the Santa Cruz Public Library downtown. It's also free, so you can sign up with the library if you're interested in doing that. Attending all 4 sessions is requested. And I do regular elder circles once a quarter or twice a quarter, and workshops and retreats. And again, you can reach out to me or check my website if you're interested in any of that. Or one-on-one counseling.
Excellent. Always valuable. Always a good option. So, Illana, do you have any final encouragements for our listeners?
Well, I would say let yourself on a regular basis, at least once a day for 5 minutes, return to the silence and accept and embrace just this. Accept the life that you have and let your dream, this life is our dream, breathe in you. And over time, any dream that has ever haunted you and returned again and again and again often becomes a guide. And so trust it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Catherine. What a lovely time spent with you.
Great. Okay, well, take care, and maybe let's keep in touch.
Absolutely. Would love it.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye now. So thank you all for listening. The Dream Journal is produced at the studios of KSQD in Santa Cruz. We are live every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific at ksqd.org. The podcast is released on the Monday after the show. It spreads interest in dreaming when you subscribe, rate, and review. I'm Catherine Bell. Find out about my dream coaching practice at experientialdreamwork.com. Email me at catherine@ksqd.org. Follow Experiential Dreamwork and hashtag The Dream Journal on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn to keep up with the shows. I'd like to thank Rick Cleffel, engineer and music creator, audio editing by Suki Westling, phones by Eric Nelson, intro and outro pieces are both by Mood Science. And tomorrow morning, when you wake up, take a minute to write down your dream and bring it to the next Dream Journal.
Had an old thought in the old town, waking up, feeling down, was what I learned in the old school, is there's no fool like an old fool. Make the most of the moments you've got. Time you spend can never be bought. Make the most of the moments you've got. Time you spend can never be bought. On the high street in a low mood, walking slow with an attitude is what I knew, what I'd spurned, what I'd never learned as the fire burned. Make the most of the moments you got. Time you spend can never be bought. Make the most of the moments you got. Time you spend.